our the pranamaya kosha, the energy part of us, the vital being in us, it's like electricity. It reacts to life. And when there is no center to hold it, when there is no ground to hold it, it becomes a turmoil, turbulent. Reactive nature of that energy, we cannot directly change it. That is the very nature of that energy. It has its attractions, repulsions, likings, disliking, pleasure, pain, and it is reacting to it. And higher the flow of energy, more turbulent you may experience your high and low. People with low energy has less turbulence. People with high energy has high turbulence. But it's the same energy. And it's the very nature of that energy is to flow, to react. And it is, in its essence, it's a seeker of enjoyment, whether it is sensory pleasure, thrill of action, or the deep emotional bonding, connections. That's the very nature of that energy. Now, many spiritual traditions try to sit over it, kill the rasa of life so that it is made calm and it is not turbulent and it's not very troublesome. Many people starve it out. That had been many spiritual schools' attempt to starve out your pranamaya so that the senses are not rushing towards the rasa, the energy is not reacting violently to anything. And you also avoid deep connections because that can cause pain, suffering, wounds. So this has to be contained and live more in the mind, world of ideas, detached. That's not a solution. Killing of that energy, reducing that energy's intensity is not a solution. Detaching into pure witness, in that poise, not engaging with life, saying that I am lotus leaf, untouched, free, that too is not the solution. At least for those who are seeking an integral life, life that is intensely creative. So you have to face that turbulence. Turbulence is natural. Women in particular are prone to turbulence because of free flow of emotions and sensitivity. Men tend to straight away go into their mind, cut off from this dimension, and try to protect themselves from the emotional intensity. So in yoga, what we need to do is building the ground that is wide so that it can contain higher intensity of energy. When the ground is not there, when the center is not there, then the turbulence has no particular direction. It is reacting to life, going all over the place, going up and down, crests of excitement, happiness, and then the pits of sorrow and depression. And it keeps fluctuating between this whole spectrum. So, on one hand, we need to build the ground. So, the first step in the ground building is the ability to witness, detach and witness. But by itself doesn't bring mastery over the energy. In fact, it might make the energy level to go down. And you become more and more of a detached witness to life with less and less enthusiasm for life, less and less rasa of life. So here, first is being the witness, which mind can do. Men in particular can relatively easy it is to do. The next step is to actually feel. Now that is a difficult dimension. To actually feel the flow of life. But feeling without getting carried away in the stream. Like you're the banks, river is flowing. So do you have that ground, that wide bank of the river, where the river, the life energy can flow freely without restraint? When you don't have the banks, when you don't have that ground to hold, then the flow doesn't really have a direction. Another reason is not having a center, being centered. Like you can be a witness without a center. You can feel without a center. Centering, that is where the Anahata Chakra come into picture, the heart center. To go into the depth of the heart center, that is where the feeling dimension and the birthplace of love, the finest movement. But before one can discover the self-existent love, one has to first establish that wideness, calmness, so that you can feel at a deeper depth. So in the Vedic yoga, they would refer to as the Mitra Varuna. Varuna is the wide ocean. Anything that is wide will naturally become calm. It is as simple as that. When it is small, it has a tendency to be turbulent. But when you become wide, then things settle. Mitra is the Maitri, the friendship, the connection, the harmonizing presence. Varuna is the wideness. So in our Anahata meditation practice, one of the important steps is to learn to widen. So you become a wide container in which the energy can flow, calm down, without you blocking anything. Like when you listen to the birds, you're widening your consciousness. When you look at sky, you feel the vastness. When you look at a mountain range, a valley, you feel that vastness. So that experience inwardly to hold, not to limit to the body, but to expand and become the valley, become the sky, become the ocean, so that the energy come down. And from there, when you go deeper into the heart center, you can begin to feel a taste of love, and from there, emergence of purpose in life, meaning and purpose in life, because that is what the soul brings, the reason for your life, something that is profoundly meaningful and you want to really give yourself to it. And that is what centers your life. And we look at life from not as a linear model, but as a mandala, mandala with center. So the energy is moving from one petal to another petal to another petal, nourishing each petal. And you see the whole thing emerging. wider and wider. It's a slow process. Intellectual understanding by itself doesn't bring this calmness, but practices related to wideness will be the key to bring down the turbulence. Whether you are able to look into the horizon and feel the wideness, or just listen to the birds and the sounds that are at distance and feel the wideness. And of course, the stillness, that is the ground, the first two steps of anahata. There is a still ground within, the pure being. When you feel the entire body and feel the stillness in the body and bring the wideness, then the prana, the turbulence, everything begin to quieten. That is the integral approach where you are not denying the flow of that energy. You're opening to a greater flow, in fact, on a ground where peace, stillness, vastness are established. And they do come and settle. But you need patience and practice. Practicing wideness is stillness and wideness. These are the keys to bring down the turbulence and gradually get centered so that you have a purpose to the flow. And you can manage any intensity. So, wideness, stillness, and centering. And there are many, many ways to arrive at these things with a lot of love and patience. Now I have a special invitation for you. For those who are sensing or feeling that you're going through some sort of an inner awakening, whatever be the label you put on it, we have designed a special workshop. It's a 2.5-hour online workshop happening on Sundays. It is to help you understand the very universal signs and stages of inner awakening. So once you understand it, you can know where you are in this process and consciously accelerate the journey. And workshop is not only about awakening, but it is also about karmayogi, becoming a karmayogi. That is, yoga of action means your everyday life activity itself is the means not only of your awakening, but also inner growth, spiritual growth. You don't have to withdraw from life. You can embrace life, and through the challenges and activities of life, you bloom, you grow into your better and better version, opening to your spiritual possibility.